Why is it that the harder we try to control life, the more it slips through our fingers? You plan, you push, you force things to happen. But instead of order, chaos shows up. What if the real secret to success isn't control at all, but calm? In this video, you'll discover 11 timeless Stoic lessons that reveal how staying calm isn't just a virtue, it's your ultimate superpower. And no, this isn't abstract theory or motivational fluff. These are practical, battle-tested strategies used for centuries by some of the toughest minds in history. Are you ready to stop reacting and start mastering your life from the inside out? Then keep watching, because before we dive into the philosophy, let me tell you a story, one that might just change how you see strength forever. The story of James Stockdale. James Stockdale was no ordinary man. A decorated U.S. Navy pilot, he was trained to operate with absolute precision, controlling every mission, every maneuver, every outcome. But on one fateful day during the Vietnam War, all of that control was ripped away. His plane was hit. In seconds, everything he knew collapsed into a blur of flames, freefall, and fear. He ejected, parachuting down but not to safety. He landed in enemy territory, and before he even touched the ground, he knew what was waiting for him. Capture, torture, darkness, dragged like a broken thing through hostile hands. Stockdale was thrown into a prison camp. There, the real test began. Solitary confinement, chains, beatings, interrogations. 7 years. Not 7 days, not 7 weeks. 7 years of psychological and physical hell. Many broke. Many lost hope, their minds crushed by the weight of despair. But James didn't. Not because he was the strongest physically, but because he held power over the one battlefield that truly matters: his mind. You see, Stockdale wasn't just a soldier. He was a student of Stoic philosophy, and in those darkest hours, he remembered the words of Epictetus: "It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." He couldn't control his captors. He couldn't control the beatings, or the isolation, or the endless days. But he could control his response. So he did. And that made all the difference. Instead of collapsing, he led. In secret, he created a coded communication system to connect with other prisoners, helping them resist psychologically, even as their bodies were confined. He taught them how to fight not with fists, but with mindset. And through it all, he whispered to himself, "This does not define me. I am stronger than this." And he was. When James Stockdale was finally released after 7 unthinkable years, a reporter asked him, "How did you survive?" His answer was quiet, but powerful. "I accepted reality, but I never lost faith in the end of the story." Ready to begin your own journey of calm power? Let's dive into lesson 1 and discover how to apply Stoic calm to your own life. So how did Stockdale survive where so many others broke? He mastered the one thing no one could ever take from him: his response. And that's the lesson we carry forward. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And that's where your power begins. Now let me ask you, what's stealing your calm today? A tense meeting at work, a conflict at home, a setback that's spiraling in your mind. Do you feel like everything's unraveling out of your hands? If Stockdale could hold steady through 7 years of hell, maybe, just maybe, you can learn to find strength in your own storm, too. Because no matter how chaotic the outside world gets, you always have control over one thing: your reaction. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to reclaim it. Before we dive in, take a second. If this message speaks to something deep within you, consider subscribing. Join our growing community of calm thinkers. Comment below, "I am Stoic," or share what staying grounded means to you. Let's grow through this together. One calm is your greatest weapon. Picture this. You're a Formula One driver. Your heart's pounding. Your hands grip the wheel like your life depends on it. The engine roars. The track blurs under the heat of the afternoon sun. You're seconds from the finish line, first place within reach. Then out of nowhere you hit the curve too fast. The tires slip. Control vanishes. Your instincts scream, "Do something." The wheel spins in your hands. The world tilts. Now, in that split second, you have two choices. First, panic, freeze, yank the wheel without thinking. Your body acts on fear, and just like that you're off the track, buried in gravel. Race over. Second, breathe, stay calm, feel the skid, but don't fight it. Ease off the throttle. Guide the wheel with quiet precision, and wait until just the right moment, then gently correct. And guess what? You're back in control. The best drivers in the world aren't just the fastest. They're the calmest when everything goes wrong. They don't resist the chaos. They work with it. And life, it's no different. Success doesn't belong to the people who avoid every obstacle. It belongs to the ones who meet problems with clarity. Because when everyone else is reacting in fear, the calm mind sees opportunity. Just look at the most successful people, entrepreneurs, leaders, creators, thinkers. They don't live perfect lives. They deal with crisis like everyone else. But when everything turns upside down, they stay on track. They don't give in to panic. They don't make impulsive decisions. They respond with wisdom. Author Ryan Holiday calls this a strategic advantage. He says, "Real strength isn't found in aggression or speed. It's found in the ability to stay composed when things fall apart." And this isn't just poetic philosophy, it's backed by science. Marcus Aurelius said it centuries ago, "If you are disturbed by something external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your judgment of it." Today, neuroscience proves it. When you react in panic, your amygdala, the emotional center of your brain, takes over. It floods your system with fear, anger, frustration. But when you pause, breathe, stay calm, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, planning, and clear thinking. A study from the Institute of Cognitive Neuroscience in London found something remarkable. People who train themselves to stay calm under pressure not only reduce stress, they actually perform better in the long term. So if you've ever felt like staying calm is passive or weak, think again. Calm is not retreat. It's strategy, it's power, and it might just be your sharpest tool in a chaotic world. So now you know, calm is your sharpest weapon. But knowing isn't enough. The real question is, how do you wield it? Because let's be honest, it's easy to talk about staying calm while watching a video or reading a book. But what happens when life throws you into chaos, when the pressure's on, and your emotions start taking the wheel? That's when the real test begins. Applying calm in real life. Let's get real. Everyone loves the idea of keeping their cool. But in the heat of the moment, when things fall apart, when you feel insulted, embarrassed, or overwhelmed, staying calm isn't instinct. It's discipline. It's training. So how do you start? Here are two powerful strategies you can use right now to build your inner composure, not someday, not in theory, but today. Strategy 1. The observer technique. Picture this. You're in the middle of a frustrating situation. Maybe someone just said something that triggered you. Maybe your plans just collapsed. Now imagine, you're not you anymore. You're an audience member in a theater, watching this play unfold. You see yourself as the main character on the screen. What advice would you give that character? From the outside, when you step into the role of the observer, even for a few seconds, you create space. Space between your emotion and your action. That space is where clarity lives. It lets you respond instead of react. It's simple, but it's powerful. Strategy 2. Train calmness in small moments. Second strategy. Don't wait for chaos to start practicing calm. Train for it daily. Think of it like this. You don't start lifting weights during an earthquake. You build strength before the storm. Same goes for emotional resilience. Here's an example. You just got home from the store. You're unpacking, and bam, the egg carton launches itself off the counter. Crash, splatter, mess everywhere. Now, what's your instinct? Scream at the floor. Curse your luck. Ask the universe. Why me? But this is your real-life training ground. If something this small can steal your peace, what do you think will happen when you face a real crisis? That's the truth most people miss. Calm isn't something you find in the big moments. It's something you build in the tiny ones. It's a muscle, and everyday frustration spilled coffee, traffic jams, forgotten keys is a rep. So next time life throws a curveball, ask yourself, am I going to react like a rookie driver who panics at the first turn? Or am I going to stay steady, like a pro who knows that control begins with composure? Segue to next idea. Now let's go even deeper. If calm is strength, then we need to ask, what's the biggest threat to that calm? It's the illusion that you can control everything, not just your life, but other people's actions, emotions, and expectations. Let's explore that next. So, if calm is a muscle you train daily, what's the biggest thing keeping you from building it? Simple. The illusion of control. That constant, exhausting need to control things, people, plans, outcomes. Let's talk about why that's not just unhelpful, but the very thing stealing your peace. To the suffering of control, entrepreneur and philosopher Naval Ravikant said, "At best, suffering comes from the desire to control the uncontrollable." Think about that. How often do we waste precious energy trying to bend reality to our will? We try to force outcomes, manipulate situations, convince people to change. And when things don't go our way, we spiral into stress, anxiety, frustration. But here's the truth. The more you resist reality, the more reality resists you. And this isn't just a modern motivational quote. The Stoics knew it over 2,000 years ago. Epictetus wrote, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not. And the ones who suffer the most, they're the ones who cling hardest to the things they can't control." The science behind letting go, modern science backs this up. Researchers at Stanford University conducted a powerful study to measure how people respond to uncertainty. They divided participants into two groups. The first group had full control over the task they were given. The second group had tasks with outcomes determined by external factors, things they couldn't influence. The results: those who accepted uncertainty, who didn't fight what they couldn't control, had lower anxiety, better adaptability, and a steadier emotional baseline. Meanwhile, those who tried to control the uncontrollable, they felt emotionally drained and chronically stressed. Now ask yourself honestly, which side are you living on? Are you learning to let go and adapt, Or are you fighting the wind, hoping it'll suddenly blow your way? To simple challenges for inner calm if you want to live with more resilience. If you want to face life's chaos without losing your footing, try these 2 challenges. First, the so what challenge. The next time something goes wrong, a plan gets delayed, someone disappoints you, life throws a curveball, ask yourself, so what? Will this matter in 5 years? Chances are, it won't even matter next week, so why let it ruin your peace today? Second, the controlled chaos challenge. Now, this one might make you flinch. Once a week, stop planning every little detail. Let go. Don't schedule everything. Don't script every minute. Let the day unfold as it wants to. You'll be amazed at what happens when you stop clutching for control. Your mind becomes more flexible, more adaptive. You'll learn that letting go doesn't mean losing power, it means reclaiming it in a new, calmer form. Life is a journey, not a grid. Life isn't a perfectly paved highway. It's more like sailing the ocean, unpredictable, wild, full of sudden storms and shifting winds. You can't control the waves, but you can adjust your sails. You can respond with intention. That's where real power is, not in forcing life to follow your map, but in mastering your direction when things shift. Control what you can, your choices, your attitude, your response. Everything else, let it go. So if letting go of control sets you free, what fills that space you've cleared? Gratitude, not the fluffy, feel-good kind, but the kind that rewires your brain, transforms your perception, and becomes your emotional anchor in a chaotic world. 3. The gratitude experiment. Years ago, a team of researchers conducted a fascinating experiment. They split participants into 2 groups and gave them a simple nightly task. The first group was instructed to write down just 3 things they were grateful for each night, big or small. It didn't matter. The second group could write about anything at all, with no guidance or structure. Weeks passed. The participants stayed consistent. And then came the brain scans. The results? Nothing short of incredible. The gratitude group showed increased activity in their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for emotional regulation, calmness, clarity, and decision-making. It was as if their brains had been trained to stay grounded, to focus on the good, and to handle stress more skillfully. And the second group, no change. Same habits, same stress, same chaotic inner state. It's like one group was watering their mental garden every day, and the other let it dry out in the sun. Gratitude isn't cheesy, it's powerful. I know what you might be thinking. Gratitude? Really? That's it. I thought the same. For years, I dismissed the idea. I thought it was just another self-help cliché, a feel-good bandage that wouldn't hold under real pressure. But eventually, I gave it a shot. Every morning, I forced myself to write down 3 specific things I was thankful for. Not just the obvious stuff like health or family, but the little things. A warm shower, a funny text, a quiet moment before the world woke up. And slowly, my perspective shifted. I began to understand something Seneca wrote over 2,000 years ago. It is not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratitude that makes us happy. Let that sink in. We often wait for happiness to arrive before we feel thankful. But what if we've had it backward all along? The Monday mind trap. Picture this. It's Monday. Your alarm rings. You open your eyes, and your very first thought is, I need a vacation. You sigh. You drag yourself to the bathroom, thinking, if only I had a different job, a nicer apartment, more money, more time. Sound familiar? We fall into this trap constantly thinking peace will come when things finally align. But when has it ever been enough? Because here's the hard truth. There's always something more to chase. Always another goal. Another if only. And in the pursuit of what's missing, we miss what's already here. 3 simple habits that build a calm mind. So, what if a simple daily habit could rewire your brain for peace? Try this. 1. Say thank you out loud when you wake up. Seriously, sit up, stretch, breathe deep, and say it with full intention. Not a sleepy mumble, but a real, grounded thank you. It flips your brain's focus from lack to abundance. Before the day even begins. 2. Write down 3 good things every night. Not generic ones. Be specific. Maybe your coffee hit just right. Maybe your dog did something goofy. Maybe your friend texted you just when you needed it. This trains your mind to spot the good before the bad takes over. 3. Shift your focus to what you have, not what's missing. Life is not a never-ending checklist of desires. Because if you can't appreciate what you have now, you won't appreciate it. Even when you have twice as much. The truth that changes everything, the clarity you're craving, the calm you long for, the success you think will finally bring you peace. It's not hiding in the next milestone. It's hiding in how you see your life right now. So remember this. Complaining changes nothing. Gratitude changes everything. Once you begin seeing the good in your life, the next step is to protect the lens through which you see it, your mind. Because if your thoughts shape your reality, what kind of world are you building inside your head? For story, the power of thoughts. A few months ago, a close friend of mine received life-altering news. Not the kind of news you forget, but the kind that shakes you to your core. A serious health diagnosis. Overnight, his world turned upside down. Suddenly, everything became uncertain. Hospitals, constant tests, sleepless nights filled with dread. But the worst part wasn't the illness itself, it was his own mind turning against him. Each morning, he opened his eyes to the same loop of thoughts. What if things get worse? What if I never get better? Why is this happening to me? And with thoughts like that, every day felt like a prison. Time dragged. Hope faded. He felt stuck inside a tunnel, with no end in sight, until one day, while waiting in a sterile hospital hallway, something shifted. A motivational video was playing on a nearby screen. Tony Robbins, full of energy, speaking directly to the camera. He said one line that cut through the fog like a knife. The quality of your thoughts defines the quality of your life. My friend couldn't stop thinking about it. It sounded familiar. Had he heard this idea before? So he did some digging. And there it was. Marcus Aurelius, nearly 2,000 years earlier, had written, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That was the moment everything changed. A small shift with a big impact. He realized something crucial. He couldn't control his illness, but he could control how he chose to face it. From that day on, he made a simple promise to himself. Every morning, before even getting out of bed, he would focus his mind on something positive, no matter how small. Today, I'll find one thing that makes me laugh. Today, I'll cherish time with my family. Today, I'll be grateful for what I still have. Did his condition magically improve? No. But his experience of life changed completely. Instead of spiraling in fear, he created a mental space where hope could breathe. He wasn't waiting for happiness, he was choosing it. Marcus Aurelius, the original mind warrior. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful emperors, faced endless wars, betrayal, and loss. But he understood that his true battlefield wasn't out there, it was inside his mind. He didn't waste time obsessing over what could go wrong. He focused on strengthening his response to whatever did. That was his key to calm in chaos, and it can be yours too. 3 tools to reprogram your thinking. So now, ask yourself honestly, are you using your mind to attract the best, or are you unknowingly feeding it fear? Here are 3 practical ways to reshape your thinking starting today. 1. Reframe your inner dialogue. Catch yourself in the act. The next time your mind says, "This is a disaster," hit pause. Replace it with, "This is a challenge, and I'm learning to face it." This isn't self-deception. It's mental discipline. You're not ignoring reality, you're choosing how to meet it. 2. Guard your mental environment. Negativity is highly contagious. If you spend your time around constant complaining, drama, and defeatist thinking, guess what your thoughts will start to sound like? Instead, surround yourself with people who speak possibility. People who push you to grow instead of pull you into fear. 3. Visualize calm and success before the day begins. No, this isn't fantasy. It's preparation. Picture yourself staying grounded in stressful situations. Visualize how you'll respond, not react, when life throws something unexpected. When your brain rehearses calm, it knows what to do when the real moment arrives. 5. Closing reflection at the end of the day. Your mind is the lens through which you experience everything. If that lens is fogged with fear, you'll miss the light. But if you train your thoughts to focus on strength, clarity, and solutions, you'll not only make better decisions, you'll build a life rooted in quiet power and resilience. So, what are you planting in your mind today? Now that you understand the power of your thoughts, let's talk about the force that brings them to life: your attention. Because what you focus on doesn't just color your mood, it shapes your entire reality. Your attention defines your reality. Let me ask you something. When you walk down the street, what catches your eye? Is it the crowd pushing past you, the blaring horns, the cracks in the sidewalk? Or do you catch the way sunlight warms the bricks on an old building? The sound of wind rustling the leaves, a stranger offering a small, fleeting smile. The truth is, reality doesn't change from one person to the next. What changes is where we choose to place our attention. It's like that famous cartoon of 2 people riding the same bus. One is staring at a cold, gray cliff face. The other, looking out the opposite window, is soaking in a breathtaking mountain view bathed in golden light. Same bus, same journey, but 2 completely different experiences simply because of where they decided to look. How focus shapes your world. Life works the same way. If your eyes are always locked on the stress, the noise, the negativity, then your world will always feel heavy, like a wall closing in. But if you turn your gaze just slightly, you might realize the view was always there, waiting to be seen. Actor Will Smith once said in an interview, "If you want success, happiness, or to achieve any goal, you must learn to ignore distractions and focus only on what truly matters." That's not luck. That's focus. Your attention is like an Instagram filter. Depending on which one you choose, the entire image shifts. If you apply a filter of fear, worry, and resentment, everything looks dark, stressful, and bleak. But when you shift the filter to gratitude, possibility, and purpose, suddenly, the same world looks brighter, more open, full of opportunities. Practical steps to retrain your focus. So, let me ask you, where has your attention been lately? Think about something from this past week that upset you. Maybe a comment someone made, a stressful moment at work, a headline that got under your skin. How did it affect your energy? Now imagine if instead of zeroing in on that, you had chosen to focus on something different, a moment of calm, a kind gesture, a task you completed well. Would your mood have shifted? Would you have responded instead of reacted? If your answer is yes, then here are 3 ways to start reclaiming your attention. 1. Go on a mental diet. Just like you watch what you eat, it's time to watch what you consume mentally. Filter your social media. Cut down on sensational news. Ask yourself, does this content energize me or drain me? Your mind is a garden, and what you water is what grows. 2. Practice an attention reset. When your thoughts spiral into negativity, physically shift your focus. Stand up, go outside, breathe deeply. Notice something simple and beautiful. The sky, the breeze, the warmth of your coffee, and reframe your questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? That single shift changes your story. 3. Choose your circle with intention. If you surround yourself with people who constantly complain, point out flaws, and see problems in everything, you'll start to absorb that energy without even realizing it. But when you spend time with people who speak solutions, who find silver linings, who encourage growth, you naturally begin to do the same. Invite to engage now. I'd love to hear from you. What is it that you want to attract into your life? Right now, drop it in the comments and write it with conviction. Because every transformation begins with a thought, and every powerful thought begins with awareness. After learning how your focus can shape your world, there's something else you need to protect just as fiercely: your mental energy. Because no matter how clear your vision is, you won't get far without rest. If you don't rest, your mind shuts down. Be honest, how many times have you forced yourself to keep pushing? Even when your mind was screaming for a break, you sit in front of your laptop, eyes glazed over. You've read the same sentence 3 times and still nothing. You sip your coffee, then another. You try to will yourself into focus, but instead of clarity, you just end up foggy, irritated, and exhausted. And yet you keep going. You think, I just need to push a little harder, finish this one last thing. But let me ask you this, has that ever actually worked? Or does it usually end with you making more mistakes, getting more frustrated, and feeling like a drained battery? Here's a truth no one emphasizes enough. Rest isn't a reward. It's a requirement. 6. Why your brain needs rest to function. Think of your phone. If you use it non-stop all day and never plug it in, what happens? It shuts off. No matter how many buttons you press or how many times you yell work, it won't respond until you do one simple thing: recharge it. So why do you expect your brain to be any different? The Stoics understood this long before the digital age. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic minds, once said, even the sharpest sword needs rest to keep its edge. Think about that. What use is a brilliant weapon if it's so worn down it can't even cut? And more importantly, what good is a brilliant mind if you grind it into exhaustion every day? Seneca built time into his life for rest, reflection, and recovery. He didn't view stillness as laziness. He saw it as preparation, as the key to returning stronger. And today, neuroscience agrees. Studies show that rest doesn't just help you feel better. It improves memory, boosts decision-making, and strengthens your self-control. Here's an easy way to visualize it. Your brain is like a whiteboard. Every thought, task, and worry gets scribbled on it throughout the day. But if you never clear it, the board fills up. No room left for clarity, for insight, or for creativity. Sleep is that reset. Rest is that eraser. It clears space so new ideas and better thinking can take root. How to start resting smarter, not harder now, maybe you're thinking. Sounds great, but my life is chaos. I don't have time to rest properly. Don't worry, you don't need a luxury vacation to recharge. Just try these 3 practical habits to start restoring your energy starting tonight. 1. Reduce screen time before bed. Yes, you've heard this before. But here's why it matters. The blue light from your phone tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. So when you scroll through social media or watch one more episode before bed, your mind stays active even after you lie down. Give your brain the signal it needs. Shut down screens at least 30 minutes before sleep. 2. Create a simple nighttime routine. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Read a few pages from a book, write a short journal entry, or just sit in silence with your thoughts. You're not just relaxing your body, you're training your brain to switch modes. 3. Listen to your body. Seriously, if you feel like you're running on empty, pause. Rest isn't weakness. It's strategy. Think of athletes. They don't train non-stop because they know their performance depends on recovery. And you, whether you realize it or not, are the athlete of your own life. So stop treating exhaustion like a badge of honor. Start treating rest like the fuel it truly is. Because a calm, focused mind doesn't appear by magic. It's built on the quiet discipline of knowing when to push and when to pause. Once you begin honoring rest as a vital part of your success, the next step is just as powerful: how you start each day. Because the way your morning begins doesn't just affect your schedule, it shapes your mindset, your energy, and ultimately, your destiny. 7. Your mornings shape your destiny. Picture this. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca are suddenly transported into the 21st century. Both open their eyes to a brand new morning, but their reactions couldn't be more different. Marcus wakes up, groggy and unrested. Before even sitting up, he grabs his phone. A dozen emails from the Senate, a stream of angry tweets criticizing his latest decree, and breaking news: yet another crisis unfolding at the empire's borders. He sighs, gets out of bed with reluctance, and while pouring his coffee, he's already mentally drained, overwhelmed before the day has even begun. Seneca, however, opens his eyes with calm. Before moving, he takes a slow breath and asks himself, "What kind of day do I want to live today?" He rises without rushing. He stretches, drinks a glass of water, and opens his journal. No phone, no noise, just reflection. Then, he steps outside for a short walk. The morning breeze brushes against his skin. He feels present, focused, and at peace. Same world, same century, to completely different beginnings. So now let me ask you, who do you resemble more in the mornings? How most of us start our days? And what's wrong with IT for many of us? The day begins in chaos before our feet even touch the floor. We open our eyes, reach for our phone, and flood our brain with messages, headlines, and the noise of other people's urgency. No wonder we feel rushed, reactive, and scattered. We didn't start the day with focus. We surrendered it to distraction. But imagine what would change if you chose to start your mornings differently. What if, instead of being pulled by the world's demands, You grounded yourself first. Science now confirms what the Stoics knew long ago. Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, a leading health and wellness expert, explains that a solid morning routine is one of the most effective ways to reduce stress and increase calm. His studies found that people who begin their days with intention, whether through reading, breathing exercises, or simply avoiding digital distractions, report lower anxiety and significantly improved focus throughout the day. The conclusion: your morning isn't just a routine. It's a launchpad for clarity, for power, for peace. Your new morning starts now. Let's make this real. Imagine that today is your turning point. Not next week, not someday. Now. Here's what your new morning could look like. No phone for the first 30 minutes. Yes, it'll feel weird at first. But ask yourself, do you really need to fill your brain with noise before you're even fully awake? Your mind deserves a moment of stillness before the world barges in. Do one small thing that feels like a win. Make your bed, stretch for 2 minutes. Sip your coffee slowly, in silence. It doesn't matter what it is as long as you do it intentionally. That single act sends a powerful signal to your brain. I'm in control. Visualize the day you want to live. Don't let the hours just happen to you. Close your eyes and picture how you want to show up. How you'll respond to challenges. What kind of energy you'll bring to your work, your relationships, yourself. Because if you don't choose your direction, someone or something else will dot. And if you're wondering, how do I train my mind to visualize with clarity? Don't worry, that's coming next. But for now, let me ask you, how will you start your day tomorrow? Will you grab your phone in panic, or sit up, breathe deeply, and take command? The choice is yours. And the first step begins with your very next morning. Now that you've committed to reclaiming your mornings, let's go one step deeper, because the mind you wake up with is also shaped by the pictures you plant inside it. And here's a powerful truth. What you visualize, you build. What you visualize, you build. Let me ask you something. Has this ever happened to you? You decide you want to buy a specific car. You start researching the model, daydreaming about the color, the interior, and how you'd look behind the wheel. Then suddenly, it's everywhere. You see that exact car on the road, in parking lots, in online ads, on your social feed. It almost feels like the universe is reading your mind. But here's the twist: it's not magic. It's your brain. Specifically, it's your reticular activating system. A powerful filter that tunes your awareness based on what you focus on. Once you fix your attention on something, your mind begins to detect it more easily, not because it's magically appearing, but because your mental radar is now set to pick it up. And this doesn't just happen with cars. It happens with everything. Epictetus put it simply: what you feed your mind becomes your reality. If your thoughts are constantly spinning around scarcity, stress, and problems, then that's exactly what your mind will fixate on. But if you train your focus toward opportunity, growth, and progress, suddenly, the world opens up. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Your brain doesn't distinguish much between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. That means visualization isn't some wishful thinking game. It's a real neurological strategy to prep your brain for action and success. Roxy Nafusi, a leading expert in mindset and visualization, calls it mental rehearsal. When you picture something clearly, you activate the same neural circuits as if you were actually living it. You're not just daydreaming, you're training. 8. Bring your vision to life. Let's do a quick exercise. Close your eyes. Now imagine your ideal home. Don't just think nice house, feel it. What color are the walls? How does the light fall across the floor? What scents drift through the air? What sounds do you hear? Music, laughter, silence. What's the feeling in your chest as you walk through the door? Got it. Now here's the shift. Don't just see the destination, visualize the steps to get there. The early mornings, the small sacrifices, the meetings, the practice, the resilience. Suddenly, it's not just a dream. It's a path, a journey, a reality in motion. The clearer the picture, the easier it is to spot the opportunities and to stay calm when obstacles show up. 2 ways to use visualization effectively. So how can you turn visualization into a real tool for success and inner calm? Create a mental script for your goal. Don't just say, I want confidence or I want to be successful. That's too vague. Your brain needs specifics. If your goal is confidence, picture yourself in a meeting, speaking clearly, shoulders relaxed, voice steady. If you dream of building your own business, walk through a full day in your mind from your first cup of coffee to your final call. Show your brain where it's going. Reinforce your vision with your surroundings. Athletes do this all the time. They plaster their walls with motivational quotes, images of their role models, and snapshots of their goals. Why? Because your environment shapes your focus. So take control of it. Change your phone's wallpaper to something that fires you up. Post sticky notes on your mirror. Keep books, affirmations, or visuals around that remind you who you're becoming. When your outer world aligns with your inner vision, staying calm and purposeful becomes second nature. Because here's the truth. Calmness doesn't just come from breathing exercises or lucky breaks. It comes from clarity, and clarity is born through visualization. So before you chase another goal, close your eyes first. See it, feel it, then build it. Now that you've visualized your ideal future, let's talk about how to stay composed when that future gets challenged, because it will. In life, just like in poker, calm is more powerful than luck. 9. Breathe and take back control. Picture this: a poker table. The stakes are high, cards are dealt, chips are stacked. But here's the twist: the winner isn't always the one holding the best hand. Often, it's the one who knows how to play the hand they've been dealt. Beginner players, they give themselves away instantly, shifting in their seat, breathing too fast, sweat dotting their brows. Every micro expression betrays them. But professionals, they sit still, calm, composed. They master their face, their breathing, their entire energy. Because in poker, just like in real life, the one who loses control loses everything. Now, imagine life swaps out the poker chips for words. The cards are your emotions. The table, a real-life confrontation. Someone insults you, provokes you, tries to pull you into their storm. If you react impulsively, if you explode without thinking, you've already handed over your power. But what if you didn't? What if you paused? What if you took a breath before answering? What if you didn't take the bait? Suddenly, you're not just reacting, you're choosing. The power of composure. Let's say you're in the middle of a heated argument. Your heart starts pounding. Blood rushes to your head. Your mouth fills with words that want to fly out fast and sharp. You feel misunderstood, attacked, and every cell in your body screams, speak up, defend yourself, fight back. But this is the moment that defines your strength. You have 2 options: explode, let your first emotion take the wheel. Pause, breathe, Choose your words with intention, not impulse. Which one do you think leads to long-term peace? The Stoics chose the second every single time. They knew that staying calm in chaos wasn't just polite. It was strategic. It was power. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule an empire by yelling louder than his enemies. He mastered restraint. He wrote, "Calm yet determined, cheerful yet steady, that is the man who follows reason in all things." That's the goal, because your mind, it can be your greatest ally or your most dangerous saboteur. And in moments of tension, there's one simple thing that determines who wins that internal battle. The first thing to master: your breath. Breathing. Yes, something as simple and automatic as breathing can be the game changer. Why? Because your breath is the first system that goes wild when you're stressed, and the first you can consciously reclaim. Whoever doesn't control their breath can't control their mind. And without control of your mind, how can you hope to control your life? Tools for staying calm in chaos. Here's how to regain command of yourself when life gets loud. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7. Exhale slowly for 8. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, basically your inner calm switch. It's like hitting a reset button for your emotions. Practice compassionate awareness when someone lashes out at you. It often has nothing to do with you. Maybe they're stressed, hurt, overwhelmed, or trapped in thoughts they can't escape. So instead of absorbing their chaos, recognize it for what it is: theirs.